Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Cold Waters. This is our 1984 campaign playthrough. In the last episode we managed to go ahead and sink an enemy Sverdlov class gun cruiser, which was attempting to break out into the North Atlantic to engage NATO supply convoys that are heading from America over to the UK and allies in Europe. But we received new orders at the very end of that mission, and our new orders are that some enemy Spetsnaz commandos from a submarine are going to land in the vicinity of Spitsbergen. They intend to report our sub-movements and perhaps sabotage a naval base. We're ordered to intercept and eliminate them before they land. So we'll go ahead, get a status report from our XO, see that everything appears to be good, and we'll go ahead and reload this with torpedoes and a Moss. And we'll go ahead and set sail for Spitsbergen, which is this northern isle up here. I believe in real life this island is actually owned by, I want to say Denmark? I want to say it's Danish territory. I'm not sure, I may be wrong, but from what I remember I think Denmark lays claim to it, but they may not be the only ones. So we've gone ahead here. Sonar has alerted us that we have a new sonar contact. Designate Sierra 1 bearing 219. This is an enemy submarine. I don't know that this is the enemy submarine we're looking for, but we'll find out soon. We'll go ahead, order maneuver to close to 20,000 yards and all hands man battle stations.
On sonar, lost contact.
Alright, make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering I.
We'll go ahead.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering I.
Set it completely to 0. That in the distance, way out there, I believe that's actually an iceberg. Yep, you can see little chunks of ice here on the surface. So when we're operating this far north, ice is one of the big things you do have to worry about when you're attempting to surface. And it certainly adds an interesting dynamic when you can actually use icebergs as, for example, blocks between enemy torpedoes and that kind of stuff. But anyways, getting a little off point. There's an enemy submarine around here, however sonar's not picking it up, so we are going to go ahead and set active sonar on. Even if we can't find it, that should turn them to put theirs on, and we'll just fire at the ping bearing we get.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Oh, we did register something rather quickly. We're going to go ahead, turn off active sonar, and we have 2 submarines. We'll fire 1 torpedo. Weapons, fire 2-1, bearing 214. Weapons, fire tube 2, bearing 183.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
With that, both weapons are away. Oh, looks like an enemy helicopter right above us? I'm going to assume?
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 03.
I'm not really sure what that explosion is, but we're gonna go ahead and shoot
Shoot tube 4.
that Moss
Aye,
off to our right.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water,
And reload a second one.
6.
Set both of our weapon sensors to active. Looks like we got launch transient from enemy torpedoes.
Passing 700 feet.
Go ahead and pop a decoy. That torpedo had locked onto us for a moment. Now it should run after the Moss. We've got a lock on 1 enemy Victor 3.
Torpedo room, tube 4 ready. Passing 800 feet.
We'll try and steer tube 1 back over towards the Victor 3.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
And we're gonna go ahead.
Lost contact.
That's 1
Sierra
target
1,
sunk.
Last bearing 221. Contact breaking up.
Set ballast to 0. I hope this enemy torpedo comes around the front of us, which it does, but it has seen us. We'll launch another decoy. And now, oh, the other torpedo's back on us. Make turns for 33 knots.
3 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Set depth to 200 feet.
Make depth to 0, 0 feet. Dive
Before we
high.
lose the wire, I'm just gonna set the torpedo like this.
Torpedo road 2-1
Launch
ready.
decoy.
Con, fire control.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water.
We
Bearing
managed to get
2,
above the
2,
torpedo
0.
angle.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 2, 3, 4.
Oh, great. And there's 3 more torpedoes. I think we'll get out above all these.
Con, sonar. We are
Yep,
cavitating.
looks like it. It's another torpedo explosion.
Passing 400 feet.
Make turns for 5 knots.
Turns for 5 knots. Con, sonar. No longer cavitating.
Passing 200 feet.
I'm well aware.
Con, sonar. Noise make.
Passing 100 feet.
I think this might actually just be missiles, but now we're gonna have to
Turns
set
for 3,
speed.
3
We'll shoot a
knots.
Moss
Con,
off
sonar. We
our
are cavitating.
Con, torpedo
left.
room 2-2 ready.
And we're gonna decrease depth rapidly. We have no more moss to shoot.
Passing 200 feet. Passing 300 feet. Passing 400 feet.
Looks like we
Passing
had a
500
weapon
feet.
impact.
Con, sonar. No longer cavitating.
Alright, pull the
Passing
plane
700
0.
feet.
Set ballast to 0.
Passing 800 feet.
Actually set planes to positive. That'll help us even out faster. And now set to 0. Oh lord, that's a bit close. But we've gone ahead and hit our second submarine that was out here. I think what those torpedoes that landed next to us were actually something I believe Soviets actually had in real life, which were ballistic short-range missiles that went to a target and then dropped a torpedo, a smaller torpedo in the water directly on the target. I don't recall what they're called, but I think they existed. Looks like we also had a torpedo get a lock on us for a moment, but now it appears to have disappeared.
Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 3 knots.
But we're maneuvering at a quick rate now away from the torpedoes that are attracted to the moss. Helm set course bearing 183.
Come right to 183. Helm aye.
And we'll keep heading away at 33 knots in order to
Con, helm. Steady course.
steady course. We'll go ahead and continue on to the south to get away from all these. Now there's something down here. Oh, that's just a decoy, it looks like. Okay, we should still be good. Just wanted to make sure that wasn't a sonar buoy or something like that. Still too close to weapons, so we'll speed up time. Open up the distance. Get far enough away. Still within weapons range. But that is the danger of engaging enemy submarines like that. The Soviet submarines especially, is they can just drop those missiles on top of you. But we'll make for 10 knots.
Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering aye.
And we should finally be far enough away to leave combat. And we will. Apparently the Victor 2 is undetected, but I think that's it right beneath us. But we'll see. Well done, that was indeed not our mission target. But we are awarded the Navy Commendation Medal to Tobias Smith, Commanding Officer USS Buffalo of SSN 715. For meritorious service while serving as commanding officer USS Buffalo, Tobias Smith's numerous accomplishments, inspiring leadership, and steadfast devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Excellent. We'll go ahead and progress time a little bit. Kind of hang out up here by Spitsbergen, because I want to say this. Let's see. We're going to pull back. Oh, further search for the enemy deemed unprotected. That probably was them, unfortunately, but it seems we missed them. Oh! Or not? It looks like a different... I've not seen this before, but it looks like a different task force sunk them. Red sub sunk. The Pentagon today revealed that several Soviet submarines attempting an incursion near Spitsbergen had been destroyed or driven off. Excellent. For the next part, it's another... replenishment tanker and tenders mission, expected to sail from Archangel shortly to a rendezvous near the northern Norwegian coast, ordered to find and sink the group before it completes replenishment. We'll go ahead and get a status report. We do have 7 torpedoes left and 6 anti-ship missiles. That should be enough for this mission, but after this mission I think we'll probably go ahead and return to base and replenish our supplies. We are getting kind of low on those. I'm not sure exactly where this group will end up. We'll just have to see if our reconnaissance flights spot anything or any satellites that come overhead do. You can see it doesn't look like we have SOSUS across this northern area anymore. My guess would be that we have a news paper here. Norway attacked by Pact. Warsaw Pact Army and Air Force units have moved into Norway in an attempted invasion. Paratrooper groups were dropped at several smaller airfields, quickly followed by the much-feared Soviet helicopter squadrons. At the same time, tank and infantry regiments crossed the border into Norway in a coordinated attack. The UN Secretary made a plea urging restraint in the use of force and emphasis on taking all possible precautions to avoid loss of civilian lives. The outcome of the war is still an open question as both sides struggle to gain the initiative. Dominance of the Atlantic still hangs in the balance. Actually, you can see up here Soviets have made progress into very, very North Norway. For now, we're still waiting to see if we can't find this... Oh, there they are right there. I think we managed to get to them before the submarines intercepted us. But as we approach, sonar has a new contact designated Sierra 1 bearing 281. We'll close to 20,000 yards, all hands man battle stations. Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering eye.
You can see we have probably 900 feet to play with here, so that's good for us. We have picked up Sierra 1 and Sierra 2 off our left, off our port side. We'll go ahead and speed time up, let sonar get a better reading on what's out there. And actually what else we're going to do, helm set course 176.
Come left to 176, helm aye.
Make for 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots.
Alright,
Maneuvering eye.
and we're going to just spin this thing to the left slightly. Although I think we've been detected already.
Classified as escort.
So we're going to stop, make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering eye.
We're going to fire a torpedo.
Aye, sir.
This Ugra, we're going to fire a torpedo at it. It's the replenishment vessel we were looking for.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Go ahead and guide torpedo 1 in.
Contact. Sierra 3. Last bearing.
It looks like it went under, so we're going to have to move it up. And then back around.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Weapon 1 acquire. We'll set weapon 2 on a straight course. Weapon 1 impact.
1. Last bearing 2. 0. 2. Contact breaking up.
That's a Riga on the bottom. We'll go ahead, reload Tube 1 with torpedo. Go ahead and get Tube 2 running towards the Ugra still.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Weapon acquired. Go ahead and guide it in. And impact.
Con, sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 163. Contact breaking up.
That's another kill. Helm set course 142.
Come left 2, 142. Helm I.
Make turns for 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
We'll
Con,
go ahead.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 5 knots.
Alright.
Torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
But I want to see if we can spot whatever Sierra 3 was. I imagine it's another escorting vessel.
Con, helm, steady course.
Sonar's identified new sonar contact designated Sierra 4 bearing 197. We'll go ahead, make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering I.
We do have a signature on this thing. We'll try and get to manually identify it. Looks like... Ooh, I don't know if this is an escort vessel.
Con,
If it
sonar,
is, it might be a
Sierra 4
pody.
is classified as escort.
We'll let time run a little bit longer, but that's what my guess is going to be, that it is an enemy vessel. You can see that if it is a pody, it does have passive, which means it also has active radar, or sonar, sorry. It does have a radar, it's got torpedoes, the RBU 6000, and AK 725 guns. The RBU weapon systems are all anti-submarine weapon systems. I think they come in 2 different varieties. There's one that's basically like a torpedo mounted on a rocket that they fire at where the sub's detected, and then there's another one that acts more like a directional hedgehog thrower that you know, the Allies used in World War II to go after German U-boats. But this is a pody, and we are going to go ahead and shoot a torpedo at it. Fire Tube 1 bearing 206.
Shoot 2-1, aye sir.
And that torpedo is going to head on off. You can see a couple torpedoes were fired in response. One not too far away from us. We'll go ahead and guide torpedo 1 to the sonar signature. We are also going to go ahead and raise the torpedo up so that it doesn't have to...
Con, sonar, noisemaker bearing 218.
And set weapon search or sensor to active. Go ahead and set ballast to -30. In order to do that, to get us going down, we'll set depth to 950 or 900, and that should take us down to 900.
218. Con, sonar lost contact. Sierra 4.
Oh,
last
looks like
bearing
we're gonna
2,
go to the bottom.
6. Contact breaking up.
Set depth 800.
Depth 8, con, less than 50 feet below the keel.
I got it, but we should stop right before we get to the bottom. Getting under the torpedo, we did hit the pody. Load Tube 1 with torpedo, and they'll start doing that. We're going to let these weapons go past us, they just did, and now we will be able to leave combat. You can see a Krevac 1 did escape, but that's okay. Our main thing was that we sunk the Ugra, which is the replenishment vessel we were looking for. Superb effort in locating and eliminating the enemy's ability to replenish their submarine force at sea. Keep up the good work. Await further orders on this downlink. NATO naval push. Several NATO naval groups have recently been operating unopposed. The Pentagon spokesperson revealed that the enemy's ability to efficiently operate around the northern Norwegian coast has been drastically diminished for reasons that remain classified. The United States Congress has called for more troops and armor to be made available for the conflict in Western Europe. Once deployed, it is expected these additional ground resources would halt the Soviet advance and bring a speedier end to the current crisis. Looks like we do have another mission here for another replenishment group, this time a group that's rendezvousing in the Greenland Sea, which is actually to our west. But we're going to go ahead, hit continue, and as soon as we get to the map, we'll head west, because I don't want to fight enemy submarines. So those tankers will rendezvous somewhere up in the Greenland Sea, up between Greenland and Spitsbergen. But I feel as though we're low enough on resources for the moment that we are going to need to go ahead and resupply and restock our weapons in order to be fully combat effective. But with that, that brings us to 12 days at war with 4 missions completed, 1 capital ship sunk, 7 other warships, 8 submarines and 6 merchant vessels for a total of 22 ships. Our capital ship tonnage is 16,640. Other warship tonnage is up to 26,555. Submarine tonnage now sits at 43,095, and merchant tonnage is at 53,240 tons, bringing our total tonnage sunk to 139,530. In addition, in that time, we've earned the Bronze Star, the Silver Star, and the Naval Commendation Medal. But we'll go ahead and hit continue, and go ahead and rearm. We will pick up 2 moss, grab 2 missiles to bring us up to 8. Go ahead and reload tube 1 with a torpedo and tube 4 with a moss, and fill up the rest of our stock or space with Mark 48s. With that being done, no decoys or no repairs needed, and decoys also being replenished, we'll go ahead and set sail again. There's the replenishment tankers right there. So we're just gonna set course straight for them, and hopefully we can get there in time before the objective expires. Also, they should be in plenty of deep water, so we'll have plenty of depth to work with here. And we did. Sonars picked them up, designated 1 Sierra 1, bearing 138, close to 20,000 yards, all hands man battle stations.
On sonar, lost contact.
Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering eye. Con, so.
Yep, I was about to say, with bearing 138, they'll be off our right.
Con, sonar, new contact bearing 095. Designated Sierra 3.
I've already picked up 3 contacts. That's probably 2 escort vessels and the supply vessel itself. We're already hearing pings. We'll pop open the guide. I'm gonna go for the Ugra again, because my guess is that is what it will be, but not this time. This time it is a Dubna AOR.
Sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as merchant.
We'll go back to the military vessels to try and identify Sierra 1. This is a Cannon DDG.
Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
We'll backtrack a little bit to see if we can't find this one. I think it's a surface vessel just based off the way it's operating. And I'll say that this one is a Grisha 3 because it's either that or a Pody.
Classified as escort.
Weapons, fired tube 1 bearing 085.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Shoot tube 2 bearing 113.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Shoot tube 3 bearing 138.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
With that, we have all 3 weapons away. Weapon 1 to immediately start heading towards the Grisha.
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
Alright. Set depth 900 feet.
Make depth 900 feet. Dive by. Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Weapon 3's already passed. We'll turn it around.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Start steering
Con,
it up.
Fire control.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 088.
Steer it closer to the enemy. It's now picked up a lock.
Con sonar, lost
And
contact.
impact just
0,
underneath
1,
the ship.
Last bearing 129. Contact breaking up.
Cannon sinking. Looks like Torpedo 2 had something for a moment.
Con, fire control.
Con,
dive at 9.
Oh, it's reacquired. Most likely on Sierra 2. Torpedo fired out of Tube 1 impacted the Grisha 3. Reload Tube 1 with a Mark 48. We'll go ahead and follow this torpedo in. The ship shouldn't be too far. You can actually hear the engine.
con sonar,
And
lost contact.
impact.
Sierra 2, last bearing 1,
And
0,
that is a
4.
Dubna.
Contact breaking up.
We'll go ahead, reload Tube 2 with the torpedo as well.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready. Con, torpedo
And
room,
that'll be
tube
that.
2 ready.
We do have weapons nearby still. We'll speed up time, let the weapons travel away from us till eventually hit their distance to explode. 2 have, only 1 left. Well, it might hit that iceberg all the way out there now that I say that. No, it'll just move past it. But we are far enough away from it now to leave combat, which we will. And we sunk the entire enemy replenishment force, which is what we always want. And response from Atlantic Fleet. It's good to hear you intercepted and destroyed the enemy replenishment forces. Keep up the good work. Further orders to be transmitted on this downlink. Stand by for further orders. Quiet seas. NATO warships and submarines have taken up several new strategic positions, including some around the Greenland Sea, in response to significantly reduced Soviet naval activity. Sources close to the Pentagon say the war is taking a heavy toll on enemy naval operations and that their supply lines continue to be heavily strained. Recent NATO gains at sea have decreased the numbers of warships needed to maintain control in several regions. Many vessels from these regions have been rapidly reassigned to escort duties to better protect convoys carrying much-needed arms, armor, and men from the United States to the UK. With that, we'll hit continue and get our next orders. But I think for this episode, that's where we should end it off. If you like this episode, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos in the future. Also hit the notification bell to be notified when they come out. Also make sure you leave a comment down below telling me what you liked about the episode or what you disliked. I'm always looking to make improvements. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye bye.